Welcome back, everybody. My name is JamestheDouglas. This is my Journey series, episode number 61. This is unfortunately take 2. Shadowplay messed up. Well, it's not the first time Shadowplay's messed up, but it's the first time it's happened in a big way, in the sense that I lost a good chunk of a recording. It's happened before, but not, only in like small clips or in, things that didn't really matter. So, yeah, I'm a bit gutted about that. Lost pretty much the whole episode that I recorded for this. The good thing was not an awful lot happened. Stuff did happen, but not a huge amount. But one of the key things that did happen was I discussed a very important issue, and that is the issue of the series. Now, ever since I've started the series, it's been my aim to experience the Minecraft updates, especially these early ones. It's got to the point now where I can't say I've not experienced alpha, because I have. I have been in this world now for almost, 16, 17 months. So, that's longer than many of even the alpha players played alpha for. Obviously, they played alpha at a time when alpha was the thing, and there wasn't like 1.13 and 1.12 and all that. So, they've got that going for them, and that's fine. And I'm not trying to make myself out as being, amazing or anything like that. I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal. I'm just saying that I don't know how many hours I've played in this world, but it is a lot. That's the point. And so, from that point of view, my aim with the series of experiencing the versions of Minecraft, it's coming to fruition in quite a very good way. And this is definitely one of my favourite worlds that I've ever had. I've had probably somewhere in the region of half a dozen single-player worlds. And I'm talking about worlds that I played in for an extended period of time. Long enough to the point where there was a lot done, there was a lot developed, I had a lot going for me in those worlds. And this is one of them. So it's definitely up there with my favourites. I know when you talk about favourites out of half a dozen, it's, I talk about plural, so it might mean 2 or 3, which is, half or a third of those worlds. So it kind of detracts from just how I'm rating my favourites, if you like. But the point is, I do see this world in a good light, and specifically the generation is definitely the best. I absolutely enjoy being in this world and working in it just based on how it's generated. I really like alpha generation, the light green grass, the random terrain. If it wasn't for biomes in 1.13 and obviously, all versions of Minecraft after this one, I think I would like this this terrain generation a lot more. So yeah, there's that. So the point is, my aim with experiencing older versions is very much a thing. It's very much come to fruition, as I said, based on what I've done in this series and the way I've gone about it. However, it was brought up to me when I was live streaming by none other than Mr. 3D Spotters. I can't remember his exact quote. I had it up on the screen when I did my first take. I don't have it up anymore, so I'm just going to have to remember it off by heart. But it was something along the lines of, well, first of all, he noted that alpha updates were sometimes only released like days apart, which is true. Sometimes alpha updates were released on exactly the same day. I mean, think about it. It was a case of, Notch was working on the game. He would release, let's say, alpha 1.1.2 in the morning, and people would play it. They would discover a massive bug, so then he would release alpha 1.1.2_01 in the afternoon or in the evening or the next day. The point was the game was updated that frequently. The updates weren't necessarily massive in the sense of, it wasn't like 1.8 or 1.7, those were two massive updates, 1.12, 1.13, but they were almost more snapshot-like versions that, snapshots come out every week. So it was almost like that. Alpha was, after all, a development stage of the game. So what we are effectively playing here is a development stage of, you know, one of the most popular games of all time. And if you need any evidence of this being a development stage, you know, if you've watched any length of this series, you'll know that it's very primitive compared to modern versions. I mean, think about it. There's a lot less items, there's a lot less blocks, there's a lot less mechanics in the sense of, well, think about simple things like upside down stairs, sideways logs. Those are two simple things, but, you know, I could probably come up with a few more. And even things like sprinting, things like, well, the new boat for 1.9. There's a lot in these versions that, or there's a lot that's not in these versions that we've got to contend with. And you can really, once you play it for any length of time, you know, I've tried to play this world as I would play a modern world. But the thing is, and that goes for things like builds, it goes for things like ideas, ambitions, that sort of a thing. But in the modern day, there's a lot more that can help you. For example, I did a project in my journal world recently. It was a portal room, and I did it like a mini end island. I made an end island, put the portal, the end portal, the portal to the end in the middle of it, and had another portal on the side. So you'd have to see it. I'm not doing a good job explaining it, but the point is that was done in a big room that was dug out in like half a day. It was less than half a day. You know, just stick on a Sonic Joy stream and dig out the room, and that was it. The thing is, it would have probably taken me 2 or 3 days to do in this world. Obviously the end doesn't exist, so I could have done that exact build, but the point was the amount of work I had to do would have taken a lot longer here because there was no beacons, no efficiency, no easy storage in the sense of shulker boxes, ender chests, that sort of a thing. So, you know, you get the picture. There is a lot more work to be done in this world, and that leads us me on to the second point that Spodder's made. You know, I've had a plan from day one. I've had a plan of how I want to update version by version. We're on episode 61. The series started in late 2017. Since then, we've just worked our way through every update, or almost every update, every major update available to us from the launcher. So Spodder's basically said that he felt the rate at which I was updating was unrealistic for myself and also for the game. So this was something that I dismissed at first on stream, which, to be fair, understandable, because I felt that it was a slight misrepresentation of what I was trying to do. You see, my aim with this series has never been the updating. It's always been about the experience of the version. The reason it came up, the reason the discussion came up, was because I think it was Sonic Joey was doing live streams in alpha, and he was, you know, doing a version per stream, which is, you know, fair enough. It's different from what I'm doing, obviously, but different motives present different styles, and so he was moving through the updates fairly speedily. I was my approach was always, has always been, just, you know, focus on, you know, the update I'm in, and the experience doesn't just extend to the videos. You know, I do a lot off camera, as I keep saying, as I've shown off. I've done a lot off camera to complete the builds and the you know, the things that I do in my episodes, and that contributes towards the experience. So, you know, ultimately, I initially dismissed Spodder's claim. Upon second evaluation, I've reconsidered it. I wouldn't say I've reconsidered. Oh no, this is not going to. This Eats Road is. I mean, it's cool, but it's just flipping broken. Upon second evaluation of Spodder's query, of his thoughts, it could be interpreted that my experience, quote-unquote experience, in these versions is unrealistic, in the sense that it's not necessarily what these versions were made for. It's not the experience that was intended for these versions, after all. This is just, you know, experiment versions, development versions. They're very much like snapshots. So, as I said, so it could be that the rate at which I'm updating, the way I'm playing, is maybe it's not the best thing for myself, and that's exactly what Spotter said. Oh yeah, I should point out that this is all finished. I'm not sure if it was all finished last episode, but the trees have grown. The grass should have fully spread over the entire roof. We've got a lot of the wheat grown. I'm quite liking this. I'm probably not going to put too much more here. Like, I'm not going to add anything here just for the sake of it. I'm not going to, you know, throw up a building, whatever. I might build stuff over there or add something over there, but we'll wait and see. Darn those lag spikes. Also, this seems to be working. Although if you wait around here, it doesn't work as well. Yeah, we've got a few guys. Let's go down and see it in action. We'll probably get down and there'll be no mobs down there. But the point I'm trying to make is it made me, Spotter's comment really made me think about how I'm doing this series. Am I doing it too slow? Could I be doing it faster? Could I use the updates to really build on the experience of this world instead of you know, my own efforts? So there's a lot really to think about. By my own efforts, I mean my thoughts in these versions have always been, okay, so there's maybe a lack of the adventure style of the game, because, you know, that comes later. There's maybe a lack of blocks, a lack of mechanics, but how can I develop it for myself? And that's always come down to, what do I want to build? What sort of infrastructure do I want to develop? You know, things like the sky, each road, the house that I built, stealing other people's projects. You know, those are the ways in which I've gone about enhancing this world. The point is, could I be doing things differently? Let's cut to the chase. Could I be doing things differently? And I've thought of a few solutions. So we could just continue as we are. Would I be okay with that? I think so. You probably... Well, if you... Oh, it was the sizzle of the mobs dying upstairs. I should note that this is mainly for gunpowder, because I've got a system for arrows, the spider spotter, the skeleton spotter, sorry. I've got a spider spotter for string, and then the zombie feathers, or the feathers from the zombies, can be got from the arena. Also, feathers are kind of less useful, because you can't really use them for anything other than arrows, and we already get arrows from the skeleton spawner. But yeah, no, the 4 solutions are, or I think, was it 4? Whatever. The point is, there are certain solutions, one of which is continue as we are. I'd be okay with that. If you may not know me, but I'm often a fairly stubborn person, so if before episode 0, episode 1, I made a plan of how I'm going to carry out this series, it was a concise plan to begin with, but then later versions it becomes a bit more vague, a bit less concise, so in some ways that's open to debate, but I would stick very rigidly to how I did alpha and beta. I could stick with that. I'd be fine with that. Or I could change my approach. How could I change my approach? Well, obviously this year, you may or may not have noticed, I have been doing about an episode a week. It's manageable, it's fairly easy, and could I keep it going? I think I could, but I don't think I'd lose much sleep if I didn't. I say that when I'm recording an episode of just me wandering around doing random stuff. I'll show you what we worked on last episode, or not last episode, during the last recording. It was just basically the circle settlement down here. We worked on adding houses, buildings. This is like a, I don't know, an entrance hall, a town hall. It's not very impressive. The idea is to make it impressive, but I'm not quite sure how we will do that. The truth is, it's just a cop-out. The houses are cop-outs. Look at this, right? We've got a bit of a, well, we've got a circle here with 3 houses. Boom. Like, who wouldn't want to live in a square box? Or a cube, or a cuboid, or whatever. There you go. So that's what we were working on. But the, yeah, so the second option, in light of what I said about uploading 1 a week, the second option would be continue to upload 1 a week, but update the versions more regularly. And I don't want it to get to the point where we're uploading or updating, sorry, so frequently that we reach, you know, the modern day by, you know, 6 months down the line or whatever. I mean, I could do that, but I'm not. That's not really what I'm in it for. And of course, it's going to get to the point where, you know, we're going to reach versions that are so similar to the modern day that it's, you know, it might not be worth doing anymore. I don't know. It really just depends on what comes of it. It's a bit like this series is almost like, think of some astronomy. I'm trying to think of an example. Think of some astronomy phenomenon, or I don't know, like, for example, the expanding universe. They say that in, millions of years or thousands of years or whatever, the stars won't be seen from space, or won't be seen from the Earth, and people will be, living without the knowledge that there's other, systems out there. It's kind of like that this series could at one point in future become a parallel of James's Minecraft journal, in the sense that, assuming I still play Minecraft, and assuming that the game continues to update, and it still continues to do what it's doing, it may come a point where James's Minecraft journal, if I still do it, and this series will be in the same version, exactly with the same sort of concept, going side by side. And it's not I want to avoid that or want to delay that. It's just that's not my ultimate aim. That's like as I said, with regards to the far future thing that none of us are going to see, like the expanding universe really presenting itself in a real way. We're not going to see that. The idea of this becoming a parallel series with my journal world, or my journal series, that's something that I don't intend that to come into fruition. That's effectively what I'm trying to say in many, many words. I'm a man of many words and very little clarity. But yeah, so the idea of updating frequently is not really something I'm thinking about. Though this is something else I worked on. Bit of a lake here outside the museum. Goes into a little bit of a cove there, a cave. Quite like that. I had to fill in another bit. It was kind of like a small cave over there. We've got some trees growing out of the water, which is kind of neat. And we might build a bridge over here. So yeah, it just makes travelling over there a little more difficult, which is why a bridge might be preferable. And then we can wander around the shore. But yeah, that was option 2. Option 2, upload at the same rate, but update at a faster rate. The next option would be, option number 3, would be to upload at a faster rate, as in do more episodes, but update at a faster rate, at the same rate, sorry. So I stick to my plan, but I upload episodes more frequently. Now this will have 2 repercussions. First of all, it's going to require certainly a rethinking of how I'm doing episodes, and second of all, it's going to certainly require a reprioritization of how I schedule these episodes in terms of recording and all that sort of stuff. And I'm making it sound professional and all that. It really isn't. I don't, the whole scheduling thing. I just play video games and record, but that's the point. I would have to spend more time, possibly more time on this. But that's where I can somehow use my imagination, because if you think about it, this series has often presented a very, I don't want to say full-on version of Minecraft, but it's, for example, think about, there was one episode a while ago where I built the 2 massive statues next to Anatolikos. I think I worked on them over about a week IRL time, but it all lasted 1 episode. That was 1 episode just building those. Now, as great as that might seem, that's maybe in some people's eyes unrealistic for a Minecraft video, a Minecraft Let's Play video. So does the style in which I'm doing this, does that take away from the Let's Play aspect of, hey, let us play, let me show you how I'm playing, and join me on the journey kind of thing? Or it does, the series does become show and tell a lot, I will acknowledge that. So the reason I'm saying this is, could I somehow work more of a Let's Play approach to it and take out the whole show and tell idea? It's possible, and in doing that I maybe get less done in an episode, but I do more on camera kind of thing, and that way maybe I can produce more it really just depends. It depends on how comfortable I am working on stuff on camera. It depends on how comfortable I am coming up with ideas and motivations to just work on stuff. I'm not actually sure if I want to fill this in. Is grass underground a good idea? We can leave one block. So that's part of option 3. Part of option 3 is upload at a quicker rate but update at the same rate. And in uploading at a quicker rate, I would have to really rethink how I'm doing my episodes. Otherwise, this would be all I would do with my time, because often my episodes can be full on with a lot of stuff going on off camera. Maybe not so much on camera, but quite a lot off camera. The fourth option is potentially a mixture of options 2 and 3, and that is upload quicker, update quicker. And again, going back to what I said about updating at a very fast rate, I don't want it to get to the point where I am updating very, very quickly in a race to get to the modern versions. I'd still want to keep these or this series as an experience, as a means of experiencing updates that maybe I haven't played much. I'm confident that I've done at least one thing in every single major Minecraft update. For example, I think beta's probably the one increment of the game that I haven't really experienced all that much. But then you got to keep in mind that the birth of my Minecraft experience was in beta 1.3 in the demo. I've played a variety of speedruns in beta, Etho's old speedruns. I did a variety of them in those versions. So it's not like I've got no experience of beta, maybe just less. So yeah, it's worth keeping that in mind. But that's really what the series, as I said, is about, and I want to keep that as long as possible. But updating at a quicker rate would mean really just gauging when I'm persisting in a version too long. I mean, I've been in this version now for, this is I think my 16th episode or 15th episode, or no, 10th episode. It was episode 50, I think. We started in alpha 1.1.2_01. I mean, technically it's episode 20 if you count alpha 1.1.0, which we started in episode 40. So you could say in some ways we've been in this version for a wee bit too long. And in, to the point where the experience is gone, to the point where it's maybe not worth it anymore. That could be a factor to consider. I don't know what I'm doing at the minute, by the way. I'm just like kind of flattening out this place, make it look a little bit better. I kind of want to keep the shape of the cave. We shall see. There's a variety of ways, a variety of opinions that we could bring forward with regards to when is the ideal time to update. In my progress game back in the day, I updated upon the completion of a certain task, such as the building of a wheat farm or the travel to the nether kind of thing. I didn't really like that though, in retrospect. I prefer just doing things in my own time and not based on when I did something necessarily. Although that being said, building a wheat farm is not that difficult, so that is effectively just doing it in my own time. Anyway, those are the options before me. As I said, I can be quite a stubborn person. Not necessarily in a bad way, but just maybe sentimental or wanting to push through with something. It's kind of a bad thing when you're doing something like Football Manager, because in Football Manager, if you're losing a game, you got to change something. If you're losing, something you're doing is clearly going wrong. But as I said, stubbornness kind of leads you to pursuing the same sort of thing with the same results, and you don't get anywhere. So with regards to this series, I want to try and get out of that mindset of, sticking to what I have planned out, sticking to what I've thought about, and I want to try and make it evolve. Okay, we're a year and a half, 16 months, whatever, into the series. Okay, it's been great and all. Okay, I will miss the bright green grass and the classic alpha terrain when I've moved on to alpha 1.2, but I do want the series to evolve and to remain I mean, it's enjoyable, but I want it to evolve and make it even better. Basically, I want to improve it if possible. So, yeah, that's really where I'm coming from. In all I've said, that is my overarching aim. So, yeah, keep that in mind when moving forward. I'm really tired. It's 2:30, so I'll probably be ending this shortly. But what I will say is, if you have any thoughts on this, I'll be honest, I don't know how many people follow the series. It's not something that I'm that bothered about, although that sounds bad coming from someone who, you know, has done YouTube for so long. But the point is, if you watch the series, if it's something that you feel I could improve on, if it's something that you feel I could change, then feel free to, you know, let me know through Discord, through the comments, through whatever other means you can think of, and I'll certainly take that into consideration. But between now, episode 61 and episode 62, I will have a think about how I want to approach this issue. I wouldn't say it's a major issue. It's definitely not a major issue. You know, having a hard drive crash and losing the world, that's a major issue. In the context of YouTube and YouTube gaming and all that, gaming on YouTube, there are worse things than, you know, this thought. It was just one comment brought up in a live stream that I've spent a whole episode discussing. Admittedly, it could have ramifications for my gaming experience and this title, but again, those aren't, you know, in the grand scheme of things, those aren't that big. But it's still something that I want to tackle. It's still something I want to think about, and it's something that other people can get involved in if they so desire. So yeah, it's something that I will be thinking about, something that will hopefully shape this series for the better. And at the end of it all, we might just end up saying, okay, well, we thought about it, but... Whoa! Oh, it's way too late. It's way too bloomin' late, isn't it? Oh man. Do you like my silent shout? I don't want to be too noisy this late. Oh... Jings, that's why this game's awesome, isn't it? You know, I appreciate that, you know, there are loads of great games out there, but this'll definitely be my favourite for a long time anyway. But yeah, as I said, if you've got anything to say on this matter, feel free to let me know. I'll have a think about it. I'll get back to you next episode. Hopefully we'll actually do something useful and I won't just stand and talk. However, that might be how the series moves forward. Do I have to do some epic crazy build every episode? I mean, it helps to develop this world. I know some people out there like the world, and you know, that's really how the world is shaped. But maybe sometimes it's good just to you know, take a step back, do a bit of farming, do a few random things, fill in a few pits, and you know, build onto this cave. So there are ways that we could maybe change up episodes in future, but that is something to consider another time. I have given you my thoughts. I've laid bare what my thinking has been over the last few days, and I will discuss it again in the near future. But until that time, thank you for watching. Bye for now.